but you win 11 in a row, and you lose, and then the sky falls. And I hate to say it, but we're not going to be able to win 11 in a row again for the rest of this season. We're just not going to be able to do it. And, what happens is you get used to eating filet, and I'm talking to all of us, and everything's good. Life's good, but you forgot what it was like when you had nothing and you ate your molded bread, and it was just fine, and it gave you everything you needed. And sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth and remember what it used to be like to really appreciate where you are. And we'll do that. And so we got a bad taste in our mouth. We got kicked around the other day. We lost a few guys. And you know what? It's exactly what we needed.
It's 1 and 1A in the NFL. Mike Tomlin and Dan Campbell are my two favorite coaches.
Yeah, I'm fired up from that.
I love Dan Campbell.
I like it.
Yeah, as the race for the number one seed is heating up with the Lions, Eagles, and Vikings all tied heading into Week 16 as we take a look at their remaining schedules. Jeff Saturday, I'll ask you this. Who will earn the one seed in the NFC?
Eagles. Okay. And they're the best team in the NFL right now. They're the healthiest team in the NFL, which helps.
Yeah.
Or one of the healthier teams in the NFL. And I think with the Lions and the Vikings playing each other the final game of the season, obviously that's massive. Because the Vikings actually have the controlling. If they win out, they would end up controlling their own destiny. I still think the Eagles end up getting the one seed, and everybody plays through the Eagles. The Lions, I love Dan Campbell. They are decimated on that side. When you score 40-plus points and lose, you're not going to lose to a lot of teams, but you're going to lose to the good ones, and that's
the great ones.
The great ones, and they're playing good teams, and they're going to play the Vikings. They're going to play some good teams. The Vikings have the Packers and the Lions, so I don't think they win out, which gives to me, I think the Eagles win out, and that gives them the favorite.
I think Detroit's going to get the one seed, Jeff.
Really?
And here's why. They have the tiebreaker against the Eagles, so
That's right.
they can win 3 in a row. They play out Chicago. The Bears have been awful.
Yeah.
They should win that game. Just what his sound. Great soundbite. Good answer by Steve. He is feisty. It's fun to listen to. Then they go play at San Francisco on Monday night. The Niners are a mess.
Yeah.
I like them to win that game. And then they come home to play Minnesota. And they're going to beat Minnesota at home.
Whoa.
So if they win 3 in a row, they get the one seed. So I think they will do that. Plus, to be fair, it is not a given that Philly wins Sunday in Washington. That's a hard game. That is not a given. The other two are given. The other two are given.
Hold on. Oh, do we need to have another wager for Philly and Commanders?
Well, you're going to give me the points.
I don't do points.
Oh, yes, you do
we
points.
Pick them.
Because of that, you got
the wins are what gets you home field.
I think Detroit gets looking at the home field.
Really?
I disagree with you. I agree with Jeff.
Let's go.
I get where you're coming from if 17 different people are not on the injured list for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality. I don't think it's a given at San Francisco. And I certainly don't think it's a gimme that they're going to win at home against the Vikings.
Agreed.
Okay? Whereas the Eagles, healthy, number one total defense, number one scoring defense. We've been talking so much about Hurts, Saquon, and the crew. Right. All right? Remember, they're still sporadic offensively. Defensively is where they've elevated and they've shined. Number one. Mm-hmm. This is what Vic Fangio's got this defense looking at. Yeah, it's a tough road, tough call to win at Washington. Washington, lucky they got that victory against Chicago with the Hail Mary. We've seen Washington lose at home. Pittsburgh beat them, etc. We've seen this kind of stuff happen, right? So I'm looking at it. Did Pittsburgh beat? I remember that.
Yes, they did.
Pittsburgh won that game, right? 28-27, right?
Yeah,
right. So you got that. I'm looking at the Eagles right now. Home game, you close out the season at home versus the Cowboys and the Giants.
They got to kill.
I could see the Philadelphia Eagles having the number one seed in the NFC because of that. I'm looking at the Vikings right now on the road at Seattle, at home versus the Packers and Lions. I think the Vikings are going to lose 2 of those 3 games personally. That's just me, all right? So they certainly ain't getting home field advantage, and I think Detroit's going to lose 1 of those 3. I think the Eagles win out the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, because Detroit has the tiebreak, I like them. I mean, remember one other thing, and I brought this up on a conference call with you, by the way, we're not on. But one thing I will bring up, and he was and you weren't. That's a joke.
He was on
TV.
I'm
on
Not
TV.
at 7:30.
Yes,
I do.
Just get up at 8.
He does Sports Center, and then he does Get Up.
They put him on Sports Center.
I'll work,
Yes.
dog.
He's not that good.
You guys pop
He's
your
really good.
You
I'm
work
here
the
the
least.
whole day.
You work the least.
I'm going to turn on the TV
You
at
work
like
the
I
least.
work
6
the
tonight.
least.
He's
I'm
gonna
here
be here.
constantly.
You work the
Open
least.
YouTube, mentoring YouTube.
Once a week. Once a week.
Anyway, remember, if Minnesota, Detroit go into that game at 14-2, the winner is the 1 seed.
Right.
Because they don't get
That's
a
right.
tiebreak Philadelphia against either team.
Yeah.
So they actually need the Vikings to lose a game before that last game. So
the Vikings Eagles have some weird, like 4-5, like all that weird stuff. Strength of schedule,
for Minnesota.
all that kind of
so
stuff.
So they need, basically, they can't have those two teams with only 2 losses going into Week 18.
Right.
So there's a couple
They need
disadvantages
the
for
Packers.
Philadelphia.
That's right.
That's my point. A couple disadvantages.
Philly is going to win. I feel confident Philly's going to win out. I don't think either of those teams win out. It's amazing. Let me just say this for all 3 of those teams.
Sure.
It's amazing that we're talking about 15-2 for 3 different teams.
That's a good point.
That just shows you how good these playoff games are going to be.
Yeah.
These are some good football teams, 100%. And it is fun to watch them come down and have to play before the playoffs and then turn around and go play in the playoffs.
Yep.
This is some.
We got a lot of teams in the mix. January football. I can't wait for it.
Boost it, baby. They are now the favorites over Detroit to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. You see the Lions and then the Vikings. By the way, the Lions and Vikings essentially control their own fate to earn the number 1 seed. The Eagles, I'll explain this very quickly. The Lions and Vikings play each other the last week of the season. One of them is guaranteed to lose that game. The Eagles need the other of those teams to lose one more game, and then they can be the number 1 seed. So it all comes down to that. Whatever issues the Eagles had, are they behind them now? Smooth sailing, all good. Eagles right now ready to roar into the playoffs and do some damage.
They're the most talented football team in the NFL, and they're rolling on every side of the ball. And now for their kumbaya, we're going to just ignore the coaches getting into, nose to nose on the sideline because it seems to be their norm now, and say, I think they're in prime position to make a run.
All good. Is everyone here saying the Eagles are all good?
That's the expectation.
No, I absolutely think that the Eagles are all good. I do think that their offense has some limitations.
Yes.
The limitations on their offense are nothing compared to the shortcomings of the rest of the teams, and not just their conference, but the rest of their teams in their league. Like the heights that they have reached with this coach-quarterback combo is better than anyone else, and the level of defense that they're playing is better than anyone else. They have 2 receivers that are as good as any pair in the league. They have potentially a running back. They got all
picking it right now.
Welcome to week 1 for me. What are you talking about picking now?
You've been saying it all year long.
All year.
If we had to pick a team to represent the NFC right now, we would all say Eagles.
Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of hard not to say.
And they're healthy.
With the injuries,
they stay healthy.
They're weirdly healthy.
I know.
All right, and we'll just roll them. You're going to know them. This first one, Deebo Samuel tackling Isaac Ferrendo.
Tough one.
Can someone explain this to me? I mean, Dominique, what?
It looks like the timing was off. Maybe Purdy forgot to put him in motion with him, I guess.
Yeah.
Purdy forgot to put him in motion. Debo's trying to make up for it and get to the spot.
Yeah.
And then it's a little mistimed situation.
You got to abort mission. If he forgets to put you in motion, you got to just let it ride.
Go to the next level.
You can't tackle for loss that day. You just can't do it as a receiver.
I mean, this is a comedy of errors on the entire play. And like you said, if Purdy doesn't put you in motion, either you put yourself in motion and start a little short in and then get it. But that right there, you knew that was going to make best point not good.
The next one at number 4 in the order on these is kind of random. Doug Kramer of the Chicago Bears is going to be blocking on this play.
Does a great job.
The Bears are going to score a touchdown.
Excellent.
But
Except
Jeff, what did he not do?
Did not report. And by the way, offensive linemen are we're early. We carry pins. We're ready. We take care of all the details. How he forgot. And by the way, talk about coaching. Anybody on the sideline that watches an O-lineman go in and doesn't say report. I'm not sure what is going on in Chicago, but that's a travesty.
He's the same player who they tried handing it to in the game against Washington.
He's the one who got the
Don't bring up old stuff.
Well, I mean,
he's the one who got the loose.
Yeah.
That was basically the end of their season.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3. Number 3, have we seen this before?
I'm sorry. No, this is not one of the worst plays.
Well,
this is the most awesome play of the week.
No, it's not the Lamar pulling up his pants. Look how much time he has to pull up his pants.
Okay.
Where the hell
we're
is
upset
the
about
defense?
defense. Yeah, whatever.
You
know where the defense is? They're where Daniel Jones. They're where Daniel Jones in Minnesota. That's where they are. They all stopped. They all stopped that week.
His pants weren't even falling. That's the crazy thing.
No, he felt
It was like my knee. Get it off my knee.
Look how much time goes by before anyone is threatening Lamar Jackson in any way on this play. Like, let's look at this. He's got.
Well, 90's hustling.
There's not a lot.
Oh, Lindenbaum got one. He got a pancake up there. I see you. I see you, 64.
Yeah. Oh, the pancake. We actually have the pancake separately, I think, for you, Jeff. We knew you'd want to see it.
Yeah, 64. Jason, look at the athleticism, acceleration. Bam! You receive it, 90.
He's pulling his pants up. They're having a conversation mid-play.
I love
Hey,
it.
Lamar, follow me. Okay.
Yes.
Let me just fix my pants first.
At number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, avert your eyes. It's the adjusting of the seams that I just can't take, of the laces, I mean.
Hands.
What are those two guys doing?
Watching.
Like, what
watching
are
somebody get scored.
Why aren't they
This
blocking?
would never happen on Jeff's
No
watch,
idea.
Ever.
Jeff, what happened
You
there?
got one job,
All
bro.
the things that happened. First of all,
You can't do that.
I think you're taking a little long, but
Yeah. First of all, you can't do that. Second of all, if it's a screen, if it's a draw, if it's a throwback like that, you have eyes on a player. You got to stay in front.
look at the two guys that are just standing at the top of the screen.
I know.
Like, why are they not blocking?
They do.
lineman, man.
It's called a Nolan Ryan swing and a miss.
But they look. The
No
body
hitter.
language suggests they're surprised someone's coming.
Yeah.
things you don't want.
Because in
Receivers,
practice, it always looks so good.
you think signs of a bad offense, receivers throwing the football, O-lineman out in space for too long.
Let me say the worst part. The worst part is there's going to be another one from the Colts. I just know it.
I'm
out. I'm going. I'm going.
Hi, Jeff.
See y'all. I can't take it.
Jonathan Taylor, come on.
Good gracious.
Inexcusable.
A great play, though, Jonathan Taylor. I mean,
Okay.
great run. Impressive
Great run.
blocking, good run.
But
All right, hold on.
of all the players,
All right.
Hello, Eagles fans, and welcome back to Eagles Nest News. Today, we've got a topic that's sure to get the conversation going. Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Darius Slay and his bold comments about the Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly about their former quarterback, Kenny Pickett. If you've been following the latest drama from this week's Eagles-Steelers matchup, then you're probably already aware of the tensions between Slay and Pittsburgh fans. Well, grab your popcorn, because there's a lot to unpack here. In case you missed it, Slay made some waves during his podcast this week, crediting Kenny Pickett for helping the Eagles defense prepare for their win on Sunday. While on the surface, this may seem like an innocent shout-out, his words have stirred up a bit of controversy, especially in Pittsburgh. But is there more to this story than meets the eye? Let's dive into Darius Slay's comments, their impact on the Eagles' victory, and why Slay's latest remarks are creating quite a stir. First off, let's set the stage. Darius Slay has been a dominant force in the Eagles' secondary, and he's been involved in more than just the usual trash talk on the field. This week, he found himself at the center of controversy after a punch thrown at Steelers tight end Darnell Washington during a practice session. The punch, which seemed pretty clear to everyone watching, went unnoticed by NFL officials, sparking some angry reactions from Pittsburgh fans who felt the incident was not properly addressed. As you can imagine, this didn't exactly make Slay a fan favorite in the Steel City. But the drama didn't end there. In a recent podcast, Slay credited former Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett for helping the Eagles' defense prepare for their big win on Sunday. Slay's comments were made on his Big Play Slay podcast, where he said, "We had to get the win for our quarterback, not Jalen Hurts." We're talking about Kenny Pickett. He's a great dude. Without Kenny Pickett, I think our defense, I don't want to say wouldn't be great, because we want to be great regardless, but Kenny has been giving us a great look on scout team. Now let's take a moment to think about this. Slay isn't exactly throwing shade at Pickett, but his words might come across as a bit of a backhanded compliment, don't you think? By saying the defense needed to prepare for Pickett, and praising him for giving the defense a great look. It almost sounds like Slay is saying that Pickett's abilities helped the Eagles' defense more than anything else. He continued, "He can do it all. He's got a strong arm, he can run around, he can make plays with his legs." This might be surprising to anyone who's followed Pickett's career in Pittsburgh, considering Pickett wasn't exactly known for having a cannon for an arm or being a true scrambler in the way someone like Jalen Hurts or Russell Wilson is. So what gives? Let's break this down a bit. Darius Slay's comments may seem a little rich when you look at Pickett's tenure with the Steelers. Sure, Pickett had his moments, but he was often criticized for not being a consistent playmaker or for lacking the raw arm talent to make the big throws necessary in the NFL. Pickett wasn't the game-changing quarterback that some Steelers fans hoped for when he was drafted. He was more of a game manager, similar to what Russell Wilson used to be, but lacking the same anticipation and deep ball accuracy. In fact, the criticism surrounding Pickett in Pittsburgh wasn't just about his ability to scramble or make big throws. It was about whether he had the arm strength and poise to handle the big moments, something that many felt he lacked. So, to hear Slay praise him in such glowing terms, calling him a player who can do it all, and singling him out for his contributions to the Eagles' win, could understandably feel a bit like an overstatement, especially when you look at Pickett's track record with the Steelers. But here's the twist. Slay may be right, in some ways. Even if Pickett didn't fully realize his potential in Pittsburgh, there's no denying that he's faced some talented defenses in his time there, and he's given the Eagles' defense a solid look during practice. His time with Pittsburgh, however rocky, likely helped him hone some skills that were beneficial for the Eagles' defensive preparations. Slay even went as far as to say, "We did that for you too, Kenny." Shout out to my boy Kenny for helping us prepare for this week, giving us tips about what to look for because he's been in that room with them. Now this shows a level of respect from Slay toward Pickett. It seems like he's acknowledging that Pickett's familiarity with the Steelers' offensive schemes and his own experience playing against defenses like the Eagles helped the team in their preparation for the game. In that sense, Slay's comments, while controversial, may have a valid point. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Eagles' defense was absolutely dominant during the game. Regardless of what Pickett did to help, the Eagles still shut down the Steelers in impressive fashion, showcasing a level of talent and execution that few teams in the league can match. The win wasn't about Pickett, it was about the relentless pursuit of excellence by the Eagles' defense, led by players like Darius Slay. So what's the bottom line here? Darius Slay's comments about Kenny Pickett, while causing a stir in Pittsburgh, are a reminder of the respect that exists in the NFL between players, even if they're on opposing teams. Slay's words about Pickett might not paint him as a world beater, but they do highlight the importance of preparation and the role that even former players can play in helping a team succeed. The real takeaway from all this, however, is how impressive the Eagles' defense has been. Even though Slay gave Pickett some credit for helping them prepare, the Eagles showed up on game day and dominated. The win wasn't about one individual's contributions. It was about the collective strength of a team that's firing on all cylinders, from top to bottom. Now, Eagles fans, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Slay's comments? Do you think he's giving Pickett too much credit, or is there a level of respect here that we're overlooking? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. to Eagles Nest News for all the latest updates, analysis, and Eagles news. Fly, Eagles, fly.